many of you heard about the refractive technique. So anyone can tell me what do you mean by refractive technique and how many types of refracting technique is there? Hello?
मनीष आराम से आवाज आ रही है याद करने।
Okay, anyone can tell me about the what do you mean by refractive technique? Just take it simply. क्या समझ में आता है रिफ्रैक्टिव टेक्निक का मतलब क्या होता है? Anyone in class?
सर रिफ्रैक्शन करने की टेक्निक नॉर्मली ये समझता हूँ।
Or anyone want to add? केसबिट ने बताया रिफ्रैक्शन करने का जो भी टेक्निक आता है उसको रिफ्रैक्टिव टेक्निक। और क्या होता है, कोई ऐड करना चाहते हो उसमें? एनीवन इन क्लास?
तो जिससे कोर्निया का वजह चेक कर सकते हैं ऐसी कोई टेक्निक।
ठीक है, ये भी ठीक है, कोर्निया का कोई भी और वजह हुआ सब चेक करेंगे। एनीवन वांट मोर वन टू एड? तो जो हम लोग समझते हैं ना रिफ्रैक्टिव टेक्निक का मतलब, तो जैसे हम लोग कोई भी स्पेक्ट्रिकल सिस्टम देते हैं, ठीक है, जो भी चश्मे का नंबर देते हैं, तो चश्मे का नंबर चेक करने के लिए हम लोग कुछ भी करते हैं ना, कोई भी टेस्ट वगैरह सब प्रोसीड्यूर वगैरह सब जो भी हम लोग करते हैं उसी को रिफ्रैक्टिव टेक्निक करते हैं। तो रिफ्रैक्टिव टेक्निक में हम लोग को आता क्या है? फर्स्ट मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट विजुअल एक्यूटी, ओके, सेकेंड हम लोग का वर्टेक्स डिस्टेंस, थर्ड इंट्रापिपुलरी डिस्टेंस आता है, ठीक है, और फोर्थ में हम लोग बात करेंगे कैरेटोमीटर क्या, ठीक है, उसके बाद हम लोग बात करेंगे ऑब्जेक्टिव रिफ्रैक्शन एंड देन सब्जेक्टिव रिफ्रैक्शन। तो ये सब चीज हम लोग को मेजर जो करते हैं उसको बोलते हैं हम लोग रिफ्रैक्टिव टेक्निक। तो जैसे हम लोग विजुअल एक्यूटी वगैरह से चेक वगैरह सब करते हैं, ठीक है, और वर्टेक्स डिस्टेंस वगैरह सब कितना है पेशेंट का, वो भी चेक, वो भी एडजस्ट करना है हम लोग को, इंट्रापिपुलरी डिस्टेंस वगैरह सब देखना है कितना डिस्टेंस क्या में है, और कैरेटोमीटर हम लोग देखेंगे, R1 R2 एंटीरियर सेगमेंट कोर्निया का एंटीरियर सेगमेंट वगैरह सब देखेंगे, ठीक है, रेडियस ऑफ कर्वेचर देखेंगे, और ऑब्जेक्टिव रिफ्रैक्शन करेंगे, रेटिनोस्कोपी करेंगे, रेटिनोस्कोपी में क्या कौन सा वैल्यू आ रहा है तुम लोग को, विद मूवमेंट आ रहा है, अगेंस्ट मूवमेंट आ रहा है, तो वो सबको तुम लोग को क्या करना है, यूटिलाइज करना है, और वहाँ से रिफ्रैक्टिव, और तुम लोग को वहाँ से क्या करना है, पावर निकालना है। तो वो सब इम्प्लांट क्या करना है सब्जेक्ट रिफ्रैक्शन में, तो वो हम लोग क्या करेंगे, वहाँ पर जाके चेक करेंगे हिट एंड ट्रायल मेथड से, और तुम लोग का रेटिनोस्कोप में कितना वैल्यू आया, तो एग्जैक्टली प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे हम। तो हम लोग को वहाँ पर क्या होगा, सब्जेक्ट रिफ्रैक्शन करके वहाँ पर सब लोग करके स्पेक्ट्रल प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे। जैसे अब हम लोग फार्माकोलॉजी का बात करें, तो जैसे हम लोग कोई भी ड्रग्स वगैरह सब डालते हैं, तो हम लोग इसको डिफाइन कैसे करेंगे? So yeah, refractive technique is that nothing but it is a psychophysic agent that has been installed and the time that has the time limit for the maximum psychophysic and that has been reached to the clinician and must be decided whether the degree of psychoplegia is adequate to permit reliable refraction. तो जो भी साइक्लोप्लेजिक ड्रग्स वगैरह सब हम लोग यूज करते हैं उसका टाइम रहती है, ठीक है, इतना टाइम तक हम लोग को कोई भी ऑप्टोमेट्रिस्ट को देखना है। So several method has been described for the measuring residual accommodation. So one procedure involved the patient being near visual acuity card through plus 2.5 diopter lenses at the 40 centimeter. So the acuity card is then slowly moved towards the patient until blur is reported. So when we place the visual acuity card and we take a visual acuity card at 40 centimeter, we place it towards the patient. So when the patient still eat blood, then the distance from the card and the patient eye is measured and convert into the dioptric value. So here the residual accommodation is then calculated by the subtracting plus 2.50 diopter lenses from the equivalent of the measured distance. Okay, so here after performing this test, the residual accommodation is often impossible in the in very patient who requires cycloplegia and the experience in optometry or any optometry quickly learn to use the retinoscopy to judge the accommodating activities. So here the completeness of cycloplegia can be ascertained clinically by asking the patient to fixate the light of the retinoscopy. So if cycloplegia in the hematopia patient is complete or non-fluctuating with motion is approximately +2 diopter is observed. So if the accommodation in ametropic patient is active, however, the fluctuations of the retinoscopy reflex is observed. So here the residual of accommodation exceed 2 + 2 diopter cylinder, and the cycloplegic refraction may be unreliable and inaccurate in this case. So in sphere node, the optometrist must be careful not to use the pupillary reaction as an indicator of death of cycloplegia. So because it has been found that it takes longer to reach the maximum pupillary dilation than to reach the maximum cycloplegia. So after the cycloplegia, it has been determined to clinically satisfactory. So retinoscopy should be performed, and the best guidelines for retinoscopy is to neutralize the central foramen of the pupil. So just ignoring the movement in the periphery, which may be confusing and distracting because of the spherical aberrations of which is associated with the dilated pupil. The patient should be fixated in a distance target if the cycloplegia is not complete adequately. Whenever if the cycloplegia is complete, the patient may fixate directly at the retinoscope light without jeopardizing the retinoscopy result. In addition, the retinoscopy should be close on the visual axis as possible to avoid the error. So it is often difficult to perform the retinoscopy in young child to to the phoropter. Instead, so we are not here using the phoropter. So instead, loose handheld trial lenses or lens bar can be used to facilitate the retinoscopy of the young child or infant. So after cycloplegic, after retinoscopy, subjective refraction must be attempted to the practitioner after often cannot be performed. This proceeded on young patients because of their lack of maturity and cooperation. The practitioner should note the spherical aberrations can cause the error in the subjective refraction, just as it does not in retinoscopy. तो
हाँ सभी बीच में कड़े आदित्य बोलिए
रेसिडुअल एकोमोडेशन हम लोग इसको बोलेंगे जो आंख में रिमेनिंग बचा हुआ है उसी को हम लोग रेसिडुअल एकोमोडेशन बोलेंगे तो इसको हम लोग डिफाइन कैसे करेंगे रेसिडुअल एकोमोडेशन इज अ टर्म व्हिच इंडिकेट द अमाउंट ऑफ एकोमोडेशन रिमेनिंग इन आई which is suppose under the maximum influence of a cycloplegic drug. Okay, so that term is known as residual accommodation. सच में सबको आ रहा है? Okay, now we'll talk about the spectacle prescribing. तो हम लोग चश्मे किस तरह से प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे. So ऐसा prescribing spectacle lenses from cycloplegic finding means when we put the cycloplegic eye drop, तो वो सब केस में हम लोग spectacle किस तरह से प्रिस्क्राइब करेंगे वो हम लोग बात करेंगे. Okay. So when we place a great demand on a optometry judgment, skill and experience. So in many cases, determining of the final spectral prescription is straightforward. So but in other cases, it requires a consideration through and judgment because of the ultimate criteria for the satisfactory and successful prescription is prevention of relief of the patient symptoms. So guideline for the spectacles prescribing are necessary with broad on emphasis. So a complete discussions of the prescription philosophers is outside the scope on this text. So numerous excellent resources discussing will be discussing here. So here when making the spectacles prescription, So we have to take some of the decision. So I am going to discuss in a point. So please listen carefully. So what are the patient unaided visual acuity at the distance near and at any distance, that may be near and that may be at distance. So if the visual acuity is reduced secondary to uncorrected refractive error or prescription or spectral prescription is indicated. So in the refractive error outside the normal limit for the patient L, so if refractive correction is likely indicated. And in second point, in is the refractive error equal to between the eye? If significant anisometropia is present, the patient not only has an imbalance in accommodation, but may also be at risk. So the optometrist must also consider the intrinsic pupillary muscle tonus and also consider the accounting for the refractive correction prescribed. So in summary, we can say cycloplegic refraction is valuable and perhaps understand the refractive procedure that the optometrist should consider when applicable. So in contemporary that many of the optometrists cyclopentality is the cycloplegic of choice for the almost all the patients. So in children and adult, we use 1% cyclopentalate is preferred for the dosage, and for the neonates and the infant, 0.5% cyclopentalate along or in combinations with 2.5% phenylephrine and 0.5 propecamide is preferred. Okay. Okay, let's come to the cycloplegic agent. What the cycloplegic agents are used for the cycloplegic action, like atropine sulfate, hematropine hydrobromide, and cyclopentalate hydrochloride, and propicamide is used for the cycloplegic. And now we are going to discuss about these drugs. Like if we talk about the atropine, then it is natural alkaloids and first isolated from the Belladonna plant, which I have discussed earlier. From the and commercially available in is in 1% eye drop and 1% ointment as well. So onset of active is slow and it used for 3 to 6 hours to reach the maximum, but the durations of action last up to 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Okay, so we have to consider this point, and we should consult the patient as well as the patient to the attendant. So it should be applied only 3 times for 3 days, both ointment and drop, and the test is done on 4th day. So we call for the PMT for the final prescription, hospital prescription. So what are the if you talk about the side effect, then there will the direct irritation from the drug itself.
voice break.
So if we talk about the side effect, then there will the direct irritations from the drug itself, and there will the risk of angle closure glaucoma, and also there will be the dry mouth and increased risk, and there will be the fever as well, and urinary retention, and there will be the excitement, restlessness, and speech disturbance, and also there will be the convulsion. And death of the 6 reported case have occurs in children 3 years of age or younger. To atropine, what are the contraindication of atropines? Like hypersensitivity to belladonna alkaloids, have open angle or angle closure glaucoma, have tendency towards IOP elevations, and CP and epilepsy patient, etc. Okay, so same where if you talk about the hematropine, then it is the 10th and potent is atropine, and shorter duration of mediatic and cycloplegic then atropine. So duration of action lasts for 3 to 5 days. So it is not the drugs of the choice for the cycloplegic fraction most often. So many of the practitioners does not use it for the cycloplegic fraction. And most if we talk about cyclopentolate, it is most effective, and many of the optometrists in the hospital and clinic use the cyclopentolate for the cycloplegic fraction because it is more effective and more variable. And here the commercially available of the drug is 0.5% that we can also use in neonates and small children, and 1% and 2% solution as well. And it is in the form of ointment as well as solution. So drug of choice for the routine is nearly all age group, especially in young children and 5 to 14 years of age. Fast onset of action and shorter duration of effect, and cycloplegia occurs to 45 to 90 minutes of installation, and duration action lasts for 24 to 48 hours. So these are the terms that we have to consider and put in our mind. And further, if you talk about its side effect of cyclopentolate, then there will be the burning sensation of installation. So before installing, then I have talked about that. Put the 1 drop of anesthetic eye drop, then put any cycloplegic agent because it will burn the sensation of the cornea. So and there will be allergic reaction to the cyclopentolate, and this is many rare. Okay. So and there may be symptoms of irritations and diffuse redness, facial rashes that develop within the minutes to hour of installation. So it is also rare. Many studies show there is very less side effect of cyclopentolate, and there will be recreation and blurred vision, disturbance in restlessness as hematropine and cycloplegic drug. And now, if we talk about the tropicamide, it is considered inadequate for children for the cycloplegic because it widely used as mediatic agent for the dilatation of the pupil for the posterior eye examination. So, we are also using tropicamide for the dilatation of the pupil, so that we can examine the posterior segment of the eye. And it is widely, and we know it is a mediatic drug as well. So it is available in the form of 0.5 and 1% solution, and cycloplegia in 30 minutes, and durations of action is up to 2 to 6 hours that we already know. So now if we talk about the side effect, then there will be the blurred vision, but it will be last for only 3 to 4 hours, and mainly and there will be photophobia in sunlight and as well as in room light if there is more light in your examination room or outside. And there will the eye irritation some of the time, there will dry mouth and skin rashes, and upset vomiting and throwing up. So we have to counseling the patient as before installing this drug. So why would anyone need cycloplegic refraction? So anyone can tell me? Like here I wrote the cycloplegic refraction is usually performed on children, and they can be accommodate too much. Okay, so many of you have also answered that there will be in children they used to accommodate more. So we have to relax the ciliary muscles, and there will be to paralyze the muscles. We put the cycloplegic drugs, and we do the refraction. And also children tends to change the focus at closer object and unable to maintain their focusing when it is needed to look at a far distance during the examination. So they are uncooperative and they do not focus where we told to them because many of the children they are cooperative. So we need the cycloplegic drug. So other indication like we use cycloplegic refraction and cyclopentolate for the latent hyperopia, static and nystagmus, young children who have symptoms but not significant refractive error. So there will be in this case also we have to do the cycloplegic refraction and use the cyclopentolate. Non-cooperative patient, amyloidic children, suspend malingering and young children, pseudomyopia. So these are the cases that we have to do the cycloplegic refraction. So in this case, we have to make it is most important. Okay. And there will be the some of the cases we use the PMT. So PMT stands for post mediatic test. So it is the one kind of refraction in which, like here I wrote, the assessment of the finding of cyclorefraction by the subjective means after the effect of the cycloplegia is eliminated. So in case of cyclopentolate, this test is usually done after 3 days. Okay. And 1 month later in case of atropine. So there is an important note: if the patient is hypertrophic, give the most plus power possible without reducing visual acuity. So what does our practice say? So advise atropine for the cycloplegic refraction on under 3 to 4 years of age, and advise cyclopentolate for above 5 to 15 years of age. In objective refraction, we will need to reduce the extra more plus 1 diopter spherical in case of atropine, and extra more in plus 0.50 diopter spherical in case of cyclopentolate. In case of esotropia, give the full correction in hyperopia, and under correction should be given in myopia. Okay. So in case of exotropia, give the full correction in myopia, and under correction should be given in hyperopia. So these are the points that we have to consider, and our practice says this. So these are the reference where I took this and make a PPT. So go through this reference, you will find many of the guidelines, how to prescribe the glasses in the children, how to prescribe the glasses in infant. So what are the cycloplegic drugs that should be used in infant, and what are the cycloplegic agents that we use for the young and adult people, and how to prescribe the glasses, and what it means by PMT, what are the advantages. So these are the things that we have to consider in our mind. And so today I have completed about the cycloplegic refraction. So any of you having any query, then please ask. Any of you having any query? Okay. Explain me what are the indications of the cycloplegic refraction. Tell me what are the indications of cycloplegic refraction.
मतलब रिफ्रैक्शन उसके सिम्टम्स हैं, बट लेकिन रिफ्रैक्शन में नहीं, रिफ्रैक्शन नॉर्मल रिफ्रैक्शन में नहीं आता है तब भी कर सकते हैं, और सर अगर मेलिंगरिंग सस्पेक्ट होता है तब भी कर सकते हैं.
So these are the points that I have already discussed with you guys. So you are not paying
Yes, sir.
attention and being active. So हम लोग कौन सा केस में मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट है साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करने के लिए? मैंने एक पॉइंट डिस्कस किया था पहले स्टार्टिंग में, लेटेंट हाइपरोपिया एंड हाइपरोपिया केस में हम लोग साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करने के लिए मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट है. सेकेंड पॉइंट मैंने डिस्कस किया था स्टैग्बिस्मिक पेशेंट में, नहीं तो निस्टैग्मस पेशेंट में हम लोग को साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करना मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट है. थर्ड पॉइंट मैंने डिस्कस किया था यंग चिल्ड्रन हु हैव सिम्टम्स बट नो सिग्निफिकेंट रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर, वो सब केस में हम लोग साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट. फोर्थ पॉइंट मैंने डिस्कस किया था नॉन कोऑपरेटिव पेशेंट, जो कोऑपरेट नहीं है बच्चे वगैरह सब, वो सब में हम लोग साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करेंगे. फिफ्थ पॉइंट मैंने डिस्कस किया था एम्ब्लॉयपिक चिल्ड्रन में हम लोग मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट है, वो सब को केस में हम लोग को क्या करना है, साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करना ही है. सिक्स्थ पॉइंट मैंने डिस्कस किया था मैलिंगरिंग ऑन यंग चिल्ड्रन में. हम लोग कोई भी सस्पेक्ट लगता है ये मैलिंगरिंग है और यंग चिल्ड्रन है, तो वो सब केस में हम लोग क्या करेंगे, साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करना मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट. और लास्ट पॉइंट मैंने डिस्कस किया था स्यूडोमायोपिया केस में भी हम लोग को क्या करना है, साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करना ही है. और सब ज़्यादा ही और सब भी पॉइंट वगैरह सब है उसमें हम लोग साइक्लोपेजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करेंगे अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस डिसऑर्डर एनी सिंड्रोम. So these are the points, 7 points that I have discussed and told you just now. So these are the points that we have to do the cyclopedia refraction in this case mostly. Any of you can tell me about what do you mean by PMT and what does PMT stand for? Any of you in class? What do you understand by PMT? Okay, tell me what is the full form of PMT?
Sir, post mediatic test.
Okay. And anyone can evaluate it. What do you mean by post mediatic test? Except Khushi. Any of you? Any of you बताओ?
सर एस्टिग्मेटिज्म चेक करने के लिए करते हैं बच्चों में.
No. Here पोस्ट mediatic test क्यों करते हैं? एस्टिमेटिज्म चेक करने के लिए ऐसा थोड़ी है. Any of
नहीं
you?
पता सर, मेरे को तो यही पता.
लक्की बताइए. Okay. Tomorrow I will ask. So everyone read about the post mediatic test, and tomorrow I'm going to discuss about it. Tomorrow you have to discuss about it, and everyone should have their one opinion about PMT. Okay. Or another assignment there will be in case of exotropia, why we give the full correction in hyperopia, and in case of exotropia, why we give the full correction in myopia and under correction in hyperopia. So these are the 3 assignments that we have to complete tomorrow.
सर एक बार और बता दीजिए क्वेश्चंस क्या बोले थे आपने?
What do you mean by post mediatic test? PMT. PMT बारे में करके आना है.
अच्छा.
Second point, in case of exotropia, we give the full correction in hyperopia and under correction could be given in myopia. Why? And in case of exotropia, we give the full correction in myopia, under correction should be given in hyperopia. Why?
Okay, sir.
Everyone got it? Okay. Okay, now I'm going to end this session.